Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Blank Pages with our very special guest, Rick Hambright. Welcome.
Hi
Hi,
there.
Hello, hello.
I am so excited to have you on. Obviously, I know who you are. We have worked together for 2 years. Is that roughly? But
Roughly, yeah.
roughly, but our audience listening might not have ever heard of you. So if you don't mind, just introduce yourself for everybody.
Okay, I'm Rick Hambright. I work for Hambright Marketing. I'm a marketing strategist, and we help market and promote books for authors and mainly romance authors.
I feel like that's like marketing, right? When people
Yeah.
think marketing, 10 years ago or 9 years ago when I started, it has next year will be 10 years for me. I feel like it was like PAs, and
Mhm.
Sophie hated the term because it was not the same thing as what she was doing, who would copy and paste content and put it into different Facebook groups. And that was marketing.
Mhm.
Marketing is not that anymore.
Oh
Marketing
my
is
No,
gosh.
no.
We
expensive.
went from literally like indie authors that were doing like, home baked good kind of stuff to now we have to be level. I mean, like we have to reach
Now it's
top
the
level
NFL.
marketing,
Yeah.
like movie kind of level, Hollywood kind of level. So please define when people say marketing. I think it does get convoluted in
Yes.
what people in their heads, what they think it is. Maybe you could break it down to more what, it actually is.
A lot of people think it's easy, and this is easy. Yeah. So please break it down.
Well, okay, so it's at the most basic level, it is letting the world know you exist. So there is nothing but noise out there. We're constantly being bombarded with, endless ads and ideas and thoughts and coming from every direction. Buy this, look at this, all kinds of distractions. I mean, almost everything is distraction marketing in that you're scrolling, you see a picture you like, and it's from a friend, then the next thing's an ad. And then you scroll two more, and then there's an ad. And that's how all the social platforms basically work. So there's tons of noise. So then we want to kind of try to break through that to get to the right audience, get them some idea of it could be branding, which is like who you are, and it'd be the author side of it, to then more advertising, which would be, hey, there's a product and the product is like this.
Mhm.
So, and then on a bigger picture, every single thing you do is marketing, from your, website to what colors you use on your Instagram page to what colors you use on your book to what picture you use on your book, what picture you pick to be your profile pic. You're trying to relay some type of message and getting some positive, response back from, again, the audience you're trying to reach.
Exactly. Hopefully a high conversion and hopefully on a high ROI product. And you've been in the industry for years, and I think you've probably seen what I've seen where there used to be a heavy emphasis on ebooks, and it
Mhm.
has shifted over the last 4 to 5 years into higher end products like special editions and trying to get conversion on sales, hopefully for both. Um, but gearing a little bit more towards back into the physical. And before my time, um, I
That would
believe,
be my time. What?
yeah, well, I think
Talk to the
even
old
before,
lady. What do
I
you
think
need?
before yours, wasn't it before yours? Ebooks weren't the thing until Kindle existed, right? And it
Oh,
used to be
yeah.
all. Then it switched to ebook, and now it feels
Mhm.
like that pendulum is swinging back. And that's an entirely different kind of marketing, isn't it?
Yeah, in that, well, it's with the whole thing with the industry is this whole weird phenomenon that, we'll say younger generation, I say kids, whatever, the TikTok
True.
people,
Hmm.
that they go, everything is digital in their entire life. And then they go, hey, but I'd like to have physical books. Sure, let's go back to more paperbacks. And then they've even embraced further, well, I want the, oh, there's three variations on the covers. Maybe I'll have all three. And then it became making your bookshelves look a certain way became a thing. And, that opened up to, well, hey, I can do special editions and stuff like that, and people will embrace them because they're not, the ebook is, I want to buy this and just read it. Well,
Mhm.
now it's become like a art form of making your shelves look a certain way. And, there's endless videos that are, I don't know, they're captivating where people go, now I'm emptying my bookshelf and now I'm putting them all back in a certain order that was different than the day before. And it's, I don't know, it's cool to watch.
You even have artists like James. His last name starts with a T and it's escaping me right now, but he takes his book.
Trevino, is that his name?
Yeah,
Trevino? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And he takes
Yeah.
them out and makes like art forms with his books and then puts them
Mhm.
back up in these like snap shots of it. And it's really beautiful to see. It blows my mind that he doesn't have like a million views every single time because like
Mhm.
you said, it's very captivating to see. And I've often wondered if like I should do that, if I could like do something fun with my books like that, but it's difficult. It's very hard for authors to do that, which is why we hire people like you. So not that you're taking books down and making like the angel wings with fantasy novels. But if you had advice, right? Because we have a lot of authors who listen to this podcast. We've seen the changes in the industry and where to go. If you have advice for authors, what would it be for marketing and that getting that stability or at least getting people to know who you are?
So whether you do it yourself or you know, hire somebody out or you work with a company, multiple companies, you should always be doing some marketing.
Mhm.
The chances of somebody stumbling across your book, you know, it's that like idea of like the perfect organic, you know, event where there's a little old bookshop and somebody just stumbles in because they go, wow, bookshop. They walk in, they see a book up on the shelf and they go, I'm just going to grab it and read it because it looks cool. You know, it's not as frequent, not that something you can count on, that true like organic thing. Usually there's something that kicks it off, and that can be you sending out some arcs, or it's you're posting on social media that gets the one person to try it, which then they tell a couple friends, and you know the organic part grows from there. But you usually have to do some type of marketing to kind of kick it off to the world, you know, get it in front of some people so then they have the ability to tell other people. So
I mean, the market out there right now, what did they say in August? Just romance went up 47% of new people, you know, putting up their book. And
new
you think
author.
like, I mean,
Mhm.
what?
New
Authors.
author. Yeah. So
New
more
authors,
saturated.
brand new authors, not even like people just putting up the brand new
Yeah.
authors. It went up just in August, like for just romance, for like 40%, 7% or something ridiculous. So you think like, yeah, like how do you, especially even us old people out here that have been here a while, doesn't mean people, you know, have read our books or know of us. So it's like staying afloat in this world right now of like, or trying to give above to be noticed is like half the game. So for someone that, you know, like that's maybe starting out or even somebody that's been there a while, what would be using like your services, like, you know, help them?
well, so the first thing I would say is no matter what you do, you want to be consistent. So you always want to be doing something a little bit. So it might start out that it's you're doing your own socials. And everybody starting out, you should like don't run to a PR company right away, you know, if you're starting out. Build up your base, get your core readers. You kind of test out your message and see, well, what do they respond to? And you'll get those people that will eventually become your, you know, like internal art team, and they'll be your evangelists. They're your day one fans. They've connected with you, and that helps you build your message. Then when you kind of figure that out, then you can go to somebody else where you go like, hey, it took me X number of hours to find 100 people and distribute an arc to them. Well, now I want to reach 5,000 people. Well, that's where you bring in, like you reach out to somebody like us, like a PR company, and leverage that, hey, that's a lot more to manage. We can help do that part. And, you know, instead of you spending, you know, multiply it out X number of hours to then reach out to 5,000 people yourself, you can offload that and go, hey, I can exchange that, you know, buy that service to free up my time to go back to writing. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that you can't outsource is the writing part. You know,
Well, I don't know. AI is trying to take my job.
I was thinking though that also like if we take artists and we put them in a bathtub or on a boat or somewhere with a cocktail or something that they like, sometimes the creative mind does entrepreneurial things too, like the Discreet series and mystery and things like that on that. And it's self-published authors, we also have to be innovative sometimes in sales. And one of the things that Stacey and I have, it's kind of a theme of this season is Kickstarters and being ahead of industries. And indies are really good at doing some weird things like special editions and like other things. So the writing, and then I also think the entrepreneurial side, that which is not always everybody's favorite thing, right? Because sometimes people are just authors. And if you don't have that entrepreneurial side, at least hiring somebody like you would be perfect because then you can hand off those entrepreneurial things. But I had a weird question. And it's weird because I literally have no idea what you think of this. And generally, when I ask somebody a question, I know what they think.
You know the
This
answer.
is scary.
It's not a scary question. It's really not a scary question, I promise. How important do you think book signings are, in-person book signings in today's market of this industry or in today's culture of this industry?
So here's where I think it comes down to some just the person, because I've seen where, they can take a lot out of you. And, I've a lot of authors say, man, I'm so drained. And I guess it's one of those where what really travel's involved. Like sometimes you go, man, it really is a 3 or 4 day event because I have to take a day of travel, then I'm there for a couple of days. And that takes me, way out of my, like, say, my writing schedule. Mm-hmm. Well, there you might go, man, the writing, it affects it too much that it's not worthwhile. But okay, if you can pull it off, where you go back to who buys your books first on the most basic level, your friends and family. Mm-hmm. If you can go meet a bunch of people, make a bunch of new friends, well, all the better. And that personal connection, I do think goes a long way. Listen, lots of people can sell books and they don't show their face. They're totally anonymous. They do fine. They have no problem with it. That can be done too. But if you get out, if somebody likes you and goes, hey, I just want to support that author because I connected with them and think they're a cool person, all the better.
That's what I think, because word of mouth really is so powerful for sales. Like the majority of our audience isn't on social media that buy our books. The majority aren't. And if you could be literally belly to belly with readers, like I hug thousands of readers a year, which is kind of insane. I know not everybody likes that and everybody wants to do that. I'm a hugger, so I enjoy it. And traveling all around, but I really think that it could, first of all, help in the terms of organic reach, word of mouth, but also it shows that you're a human. It gives you content to post. And with AI and with this saturation of newer authors, being a real person, I think that there's a lot of emphasis on that could help you to just be a little bit above that saturation market where they know you, they've literally hugged you. There are pictures with you with readers and pictures of your pretty books on a table or videos of it. I really think that can be a useful tool if you can get past that discomfort at first. I used to not be able to sleep before signing. I would have just the anxiousness of it. And now it feels like a girl's trip, but I've done 100 of them or something stupid at this point. I think I've literally done 100. I should probably count because I should do a giveaway or do host a signing or a party to celebrate doing 100 of them.
Yeah, it's funny though. I don't think of signing events as marketing or PR because that to me, I don't. No, I think of it as I'm going there to meet readers or thank them for being part of my world or something like that. But I don't think of it as marketing because not necessarily you go there. Yes, you might find people that come up to your table and go, oh, this looks interesting. But most of the time you're going to get the readers you already know that want to come have it signed or, so I guess I keep that separate where that to me is my thank you to them and hopefully their thank you to me to come, visit me. But I've really kind of keep that weirdly separate as not a marketing tool.
I wonder if that's a coping mechanism for you.
I think it is.
Subconsciously, right? Because it absolutely is marketing and PR and you hate marketing and PR.
Because I can say she gains a lot of readers every time she does a panel. She attracts people every time she does a panel. I see it firsthand. People come up to her and say, I had no idea. I need to buy your books.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time.
And you have really good energy.
Mhm.
It's good to get out there and feel that positivity from readers, and get that engagement. I don't know how authors used to do it.
I think it's good energy for me in the marketing sense is because I don't look at it as a business. I look at it as like, I'm, wanting to be there for my friends and them to come to my table. So we need to get back to like actual, like, but I think that is a tool. But I mean, I think in today's world, that's very low, right? On the marketing PR tool, like of getting out there in the world. I think like
Is
that to
it?
me is just, it's
I
because it's a
don't know.
limited
I don't think
audience.
so.
What would you say, Rick? You would know more. You would know better.
Well, I mean, the cool thing is, like, from what I've seen from like older days, it'd almost be like the tour would be, I need to visit this small bookshop, one day and go to the next town to the next small bookshop. They're concentrating, at these conventions, all these readers in one place. So it's at least you can, from that you can knock out a whole bunch of people at one place in one day. So that's a very positive thing. I don't know if you balance it. Hey, you might say, hey, when I put an ad up on Facebook, I'm reaching a lot more people that are at that convention. So you can go, well, okay, the reach is further in that respect, but the offset would be that personal connection.
Right. I feel like the taco kid. Why not both? That's yeah.
Like Frenchie and soft tacos.
Exactly. Speaking of Facebook, though, okay, I have a potentially controversial question. What do you think is the best social media platform to be on?
Some of it depends on where your customer base is. So Facebook is, trending older.
Mhm.
So, and then TikTok is trending younger. And then Instagram seems to be everybody at the moment.
It does.
But, TikTok's expanding, more older people are now getting used to it and getting on it. And then you see a lot more people on there. Their algorithm is brutal, though.
Mm.
So
Thank
it's
God
one
we're
of the,
sadists or masochists. Which one is it? Both.
yeah.
Both. Why not both?
You really have to be into TikTok. Like TikTok doesn't reward like, hey, I'm going to post once a day. Like Instagram kind of wants you to, and Facebook, and I meaning
I'm a
Meta,
weirdo. Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook wants you to go like once a day or maybe twice a day. And if you do more, you start limiting your reach almost
You
because
do.
you're stepping on your own posts.
I remember when we first started working together and I said, "Oh, I just posted this the other day." And you were like, "Where?" I just looked at your first 20. I was like, "Oh, those were just from this last week." Like it's like 40, it's like 4 days ago, but it's like 40 posts ago. You're like,
That's an interesting. I don't think a lot of people realize that is because we just were talking to Neil today about that. Like I didn't even realize on Instagram I would be stepping on my own posts. That
you
like I would
are,
actually get less engagement from people the more I posted over there.
but
Yeah.
so there is a trade-off, right? And I've had this conversation with a bunch of people and a bunch of authors, right? If you have 7 revenue streams, which is what you should have, right? You have you should have your Patreon, you should have your direct sales, you should have your Amazon Kindle page reads, you should have your first in series free, you should have your events, you should have whatever your other 2 are. I can't off the top of my head think of them. I have 17. I write down a list. I have 17. You should be posting about them all consistently in order to get like nail it in, because people have to see it how many times before they'll act on it now. It used to be 7. And now I think it's 16 or not, or some ridiculous number. So I've seen in terms of bottom line and money in my bank account and growing each revenue stream, posting more helps that, but it decreases the number of likes on a post. Likes don't pay my bills. Likes do not keep 12 people employed in my business, right? So, but likes are on the pro side of likes, though, that is what's it called, social proof, right? So there is a give and take, and it just matters, what it is that you're going for in that moment. I like stability, so I post a ton. Not a lot of people do. I'm an oddball that I think all of us on this call can agree. I'm a little bit of a weirdo in the industry. I like beat to my own drum or march to my own drum, whatever the saying is. I'm always off doing something fun. And like, I'll totally know something is what you should be doing. And I'll be like, I'll keep that in mind as I do the other thing. That's because that's just how I am. And that's on Instagram, right? But TikTok favors multiple posts a day. TikTok, you can post every 5 minutes. And some of them might go viral and you can immediately post again and it'll still be going viral. or at least it used to, right? It's a little bit more difficult now. And was that what you were saying, Rick? That in terms of like the amount of posts?
Okay, so here's where you're different, but still hit the main theme is you're consistent.
I am.
So you're posting a lot more, but you're doing what you don't. I guess what I wouldn't advise is somebody that goes like, "Hey, today I'm going to post 3 posts close together, and then I'm going to take 2 days off."
Mm-hmm.
If that were the case, like you say, you have you have 3 things you want to post. I would say, well, then post one a day
Yes.
to have like that, let them get each other's reach. But now and again, if you posted 10 on one day and then didn't post for a week, it probably wouldn't get the same results. But when you're posting a bunch each day, you're being consistent.
Yeah.
And right, it's one of those, maybe you're not getting the maximum reach out of every single post, but you're putting lots of content out there. So again, people are seeing it many times. The other thing you're taking advantage of right now on Meta, Facebook, is the Reels.
Yes.
So Meta wants to compete with TikTok. They were all over like, hey, we're going to take over when TikTok goes away, which of course
Yeah.
never thought it was really
never going to go away. Mm-hmm.
Billion-dollar companies just don't generally, shrivel up and disappear. They somehow work it out, whatever the
Somehow.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Meta goes, hey, I want to get on it. They're giving very good rates if you want to, do videos on ads. They're also doing just on regular organic posts. They're giving lots of impressions.
Mm-hmm.
And, like people now get on, video on Reels or on TikTok and they doom scroll and can go through tons of, videos in any session. So the actual cost per click on an ad is very low. So even if you're boosting it, you get very good rates right now. So you can take advantage of it, which is kind of, a lot of what you're doing is, hey, it's great to be on those. If you were doing all still pictures, would it be, the same success? No, not right now, because that is not going to get the reach that the videos get.
I think because I have fun with TikToks, which are then created into Reels, right? Like I like to use TikTok for content creation because I like the platform. I think it's really easy for me. I learned how to do it before Instagram even had Reels, right? So it's like my safe place for doing fun things. And I think that also comes through my videos, which then gets higher engagement, which then turns into higher conversion, right? Whether that conversion is just people following me because they like me talking about my books, or they like I just did a transition for my hair, right? They just follow for that, and they don't even like books, but hey, they're giving me reach. And maybe one day I will have a book and they just happen to need an escape, and it happens to be that. So I think finding what you like to do and what makes you happy and posting that is probably the best thing to do for longevity. It might not be the trending thing at the moment. It might not be the number one thing that you can do for conversion, but if you like it and you're getting that return on joy, as well as return on investment, and finding that level that you feel comfortable with, that's probably, I would think, the best thing that an author could do. That way they keep themselves sane.
Yeah. But I think like this, like we have done so many, there is no right, like one particular path for anybody, and that's what it's so hard, because everything, I think everybody wants a formula. They want to, go to you and be like, you do this and this, and I'm going to also be this, and that's what's so hard is like, you will have your own thing and that doesn't fit me. That's not my personality. I can't stick to that. Nobody would buy it from me.
It's not one size fits all.
It's also not just me. It's also, I think a lot of people think, and I used to post, every single post was me posting, and I would stop in the middle of dinner to make sure that I posted. And now I have an entire team helping me. I'm responding to comments when they ask for links or they're asking where things are. So it's impossible for for one person to do what I'm doing, even for me to do what I'm doing, because it's not all me.
You just crushed a lot of people.
I crushed them.
Well, I don't mean like, hello, you're so amazing. I'm like, do you know our team?
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I have an army behind me, and Sean will say
Don't look
some of them
behind
are
the curtain.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, look, like even for my kids, I want them to know, like, this is a lot. We do a lot and it
Mhm.
requires a team, and we are here. And one of the reasons that I hired Neil, who you mentioned earlier, Stacey, is because I found some TikToks that had, or some reels that had gone viral, and so many people asked for links for it was weeks before, and I never responded to a single one because it was an old post that had gone viral and I didn't even see. And I felt so much defeat. You would think that I felt fantastic, right? Because it was a post that had gone viral, but I felt so much defeat because I was failing. To me, that was failing. And one thing I'm not going to let my business do is fail. That I think everybody can agree on. This business, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I satisfy every reader, whether it's a cover or just simply providing a link. So going back to you though, Rick, because social media is one aspect of what you do, but marketing is much more than just figuring out what to post or finding somebody who could post for you or tell you what content works. Ads are a whole nother beast. And I just personally know that you happen to be on a TikTok call about an hour ago trying to fix a whole bunch of mess that one of your clients might have created on her TikTok account. I don't know,
That would be this
possibly.
one.
Maybe.
I
And
was
that
always an angel with him. Like, do
right.
you okay?
I'm,
Right.
I like to think I'm an angel. I'm an angel who just like goes around causing some messes with her wings sometimes. But that is a whole nother beast compared to just putting content up. Then once you have it, using it. And there are a lot of tools that you can use, right?
Yeah, so each platform has its own ads platform then. So if you're on TikTok, so TikTok does not want to inherently give you traffic for free. They want to sell it
Those
to
bastards.
you.
Those
Exactly. So, it's like a business post is generally not going to go viral because they want you to buy the, and they do that, and they do it to creators too. That's where if you look at even like really popular accounts, sometimes you'll see like on TikTok, especially these wide, very like this one went to 1,000 people, this one went to 50,000 people, and TikTok will most certainly mess with you a little bit, and you'll get little pop-ups like, "Hey, would you like to boost this next post?" and all that. They don't want to just give you endless free traffic. Now, there's the balance of where things go viral for creators, not businesses, where they also make money by keeping the viewer that's viewing the content engaged. So they'll stuff that keeps people on TikTok, they will show to more people just to keep everybody else on TikTok more, which ultimately then shows more ads and gets more, money for them. But they want money from the posting side too. So there's one of those where like a paid advertisement's never going to go viral. So yeah, you're going to have to invest some into boosting it. On Facebook, it's an older demographic. Everybody says Facebook's going away, which in the scheme of things, yes, but very slowly. In
Yeah.
that, there's still
Creeping
some
to its
ridiculous
grave
numbers
very
of volume.
slowly.
I
Yeah.
also like my highest conversion is Facebook. I still love Facebook, and it blows my mind these new authors that don't even have a Facebook page.
Mhm.
Because my grandma reads my books, right? And even if that is an older clientele that's on Facebook, they should be reading romance books.
You're missing a whole
Or-
market
well,
if you don't.
Yeah, but
exactly.
as somebody that whatever Facebook did, most of its ads now, or most of like people like, I was like, almost do not follow. I mean, add as a friend, author you want to follow, because I swear I will not see any of this, like my friends' stuff feed, like
Oh,
ever.
100%. I mean, they've
And I'm
changed.
like, so don't
TikTok's changed.
actually add an author if you want to follow them as a friend, because I'll never see their
That's
stuff again.
That happens with all the platforms, I feel like. I mean, I remember before TikTok had TikTok Shop, and it
Oh,
was
TikTok.
entirely different, and the conversion was entirely different. And then TikTok Shop came, which
Now
changed
all
everything.
TikTok is shop,
Mhm.
shop, shop,
Mhm.
shop.
But
It's like,
authors can monetize that, right? A lot. One of the TikTok ads that I get the most are special editions of books, which
yeah.
sell like hotcakes, and that's a whole market. These TikTok readers that almost exclusively buy special editions on TikTok Shop. They don't want to go to Kickstarter. They don't even know about your direct sales website and they don't want to go there, right? So there's something to be said. Dip into all of those revenue. Why not all, right? We've got
Because
this
I want to keep the pretty music. And if I go to the other one, I can't keep the pretty music.
so true. Okay, I have another weird question though. Were you finished your thought or did we cut you off?
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Okay. Here's my weird question because I remember, speaking of just remembering what TikTok used to be, I remember posting in a Facebook group. It was an author Facebook group. And I said, TikTok is where it's at. I said, I'm making money on TikTok. And they said, that's for girls dancing. My money is better spent on Facebook ads. That's weird. Like they were very, no, that's weird. Right. And I remember when Instagram came about and I said, that's where people post pictures of food. That's for food. Right. I remember the start of these. I'm currently seeing some platforms potentially that remind me of when I first saw TikTok and remind me of when I first saw Instagram because they're being advertised in organic ways. And I'm hearing these platforms come up in conversations. I'm seeing these platforms on advertisements for other things like Substack, like Threads. And I'm curious if you have any kind of hunch or feeling as to what might be a platform that is relevant and that you should be on regardless of Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, not those three, something else. I personally am on all of them. I have a friend who literally will take my content and post it everywhere on all sorts of platforms, including Lemonade, and all sorts of things that are oddball platforms where who knows where they're going. But if I had to put money down, Substack is coming up a lot. And if I had some chips in a casino, I'd at least throw a few onto Substack to see what's going to happen there. But I've been wrong before. I've been wrong before, right? I've sent houses to heaven based off of me being wrong and putting money where I shouldn't have put it. So do you have any insight, feelings, any gut instincts?
Well, another place that would be YouTube Shorts, in that you can probably utilize a lot of the content that you're using other places. You have lots of clips, a lot of short form stuff that, the
repurpose.io can automatically post it there too. If you're posting onto TikTok or posting on Instagram, repurpose.io will automatically then post onto YouTube Shorts. Yeah.
Yeah, and it like the book community has never been as vibrant on YouTube as it had, like say on book talk or Bookstagram or anything like that. But there is a pocket of people on YouTube too, and there's some creators and some influencers and video podcasts or whatever, shows and stuff like that about books. So there is a community there, and if you can you said an easy, like, boom, use your content that you already have. You're not really creating something new. You're just utilizing it. It might be something to take advantage of.
Definitely. I used to have that 100,000 follower account. I got my plaque and everything. And when I lost that account, I lost like $500 a day. Easily, I knew that it was at least $500 a day that I was making from 100,000 followers on YouTube. And it's been difficult to grow that audience back. I lost it because of the audiobooks. I had explicit audio, but that's also how I got them, right? So it's
you lose them how you get them.
Yep, I lost them exactly how I got them. I just didn't. If I'd known I was breaking the rules, I wouldn't have broken the rules.
How do you break the rules when somebody steals your stuff and puts it up and they don't get in trouble? Like that just makes me crazy.
Okay. Exactly. Also, it's just a book, but I at the time I was urging people to get onto YouTube, not just for audiobooks being there because I was making money also on the platform from having long form, but I was only to get into that tier because of the short form and how well the short form did. So it's a dynamic platform. They are fighting with ad block though. They're spending so much. Do you know about that? So AdBlock is continuing to put more money into their ads to fight ads on YouTube. And then YouTube is spending money to sidestep AdBlock.
To get around AdBlock.
Yes. Yeah. So both of them are spending a lot of money on tech to compete against one another. And I would prefer for them to spend it on me, just generally speaking. Yeah, but Stacey, you were going to say something. Do you remember what it
I
was?
was just going back to like, so coming more to the end of wrapping up, like for people out here like that maybe are interested, what I know you have different tiers and what, different, can you describe the different tiers you would offer like an author if they were interested in your company?
Sure. So we have a big, broad marketing package, and that is customized. And it's, because again, everybody's business is different. And, you know, the first question you always get when someone goes, well, okay, I want to run some ads. And, what should my budget be? Well, then you have to get into, well, you have to look at cash flow and you have to really get into the business of it because, you don't ever want to find yourself constrained like, oh, I better get this many sales in the next 2 weeks or I'm going to like come up short, for a bill or something. And there are realities that, you go, hey, I need, I don't know, to pay the mortgage. So I need to pull out so much for my, life living every month. And then that kind of leaves over, with whatever your revenue is to then your costs to then whatever you have to pull out for your salary and whatever your living expenses are. It leaves an amount, and that's like kind of probably the maximum amount that could be reinvested into marketing. And then you're going to some part of that is kind of your budget, where you got to get in and really crunch those numbers to see what makes sense because you don't want to overextend. I think you also want to kind of get kind of a corporate mentality of, hey, I have my corporation, I have a marketing department, and I'm going to put a budget towards that marketing department, and it's this much, and then kind of like that's kind of set aside and it's invested, and then you invest it however, whatever the best possible way is. But you've allocated a certain amount, and then you figure out how you should use it.
Exactly. And I think it's
Kind
really
of
important that you
approach.
talk about cash flow because expansion costs more than just the cost of that expansion. It really does. And cash flow is very important. And that's something that, all of these self-published authors, the majority do not have business backgrounds or an education of, when you expand and you're spending this amount, there are caps. And if you cannot follow through with certain things, like, if you're blowing up on TikTok with a special edition, you better have those special editions. Because if you don't have them on hand and you don't have the people around you to be able to help you fulfill them, that's going to be a problem. And then when you can't fulfill them in time, now you've just tanked your TikTok shop because you expanded too quickly. And there have been incidences that I've witnessed in the last 9 years of this industry where tanking their business because of expansion is a very real thing. And that's something that we don't talk about. I as a business. So,
Or they don't understand how much money actually goes into being an indie author. Like I think
Exactly.
on Cash on Hand, there was many times that I'm like, I'm sorry, I need how much to even get onto the playing field is sometimes like, okay, let me breathe. You know? So I think there's a lot more of the money. It's being an indie author that people don't realize that you need to front. Yes, you have a lot of control, but you also need to front a lot. And that ads is a big one. I know that was for a while, like my biggest expense was,
I think for a
ads.
lot of authors, it's probably the largest. I would again, if I had chips at a casino, I would probably put a full stack of those chips onto most authors spend the majority of their money on ads.
Mhm.
Do you guys think so? Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you're doing ads wherever it might be, you're paying for the ads now, and
Mhm.
you're going to get paid if you're on Amazon. What it's like 45 to 60 days
Right.
later. If you sell something like right away from that ad.
Mhm.
If you're in taking advantage of Kindle Unlimited, well, then people are giving you fractions of a cent for over however long it takes them to read it, and then the real idea with Kindle Unlimited is to get them into your funnel so that they read multiple books. Well, then that's stretching it out even further over months or hopefully years. That if you have a big back catalog, they could be reading for a long time.
Mhm.
So there is lots of revenue to be made, but there is a gap between when you pay for stuff and when you get the money from that sale that you have to be able to like float whatever that amount is.
Exactly. And the same thing with direct sales. Um, you might get that sale, and if you're on Shopify, you might get that money a week later. But if your return rate is 50%, you might want to spend more on those ads to get those people in because you're going to make more money down the line. And then TikTok Shop is also like 2 weeks. Is that right? What is TikTok Shop? It's faster than Amazon, right?
I believe so, but yeah, I'm not sure what the day. So TikTok is the one you have to pay attention to most because they change the most often.
Thank you so much for being on, Rick. Do you have any last minute advice or any words of wisdom for those who are listening?
And where they can find you.
Yes, and where they can find you.
So I would say this is the best time to be an author. It's that whether you're
Really?
yeah, I mean it's the most competitive day, but there's the most opportunity. And especially in the romance field, I will say no matter who you say is like the biggest author, say Colleen Hoover, she's the biggest one. She reaches seemingly a few percent of like all the romance readers out there. Whoever it is. So there's lots of opportunity. So and it's not a zero-sum game. I mean, readers can read 20 authors at the same time. It's not like they have to pick one or the other. So
especially in romance, it's the most prolific genre.
Yeah, they're the fast readers.
Mhm.
yeah, they read lots of books. They take advantage of, investing into special editions and into KU and into paperbacks. And a lot of people do. And, audiobooks are then the next avenue of things a lot of the readers do all the stuff. They will hit all the different streams and you can be in all of them. It's still the best time. Now there's been a big influx of authors. A lot of it's coming out of COVID, and it's kind of like probably a 2015 moment where people go, wow, I can publish my own books. Like, this is awesome. And, it's like, work on your product. If you have a good product, you will continue to succeed. And then, marketing efforts just help speed that up, getting the awareness out there and making you known to more people faster. You can go to hambright.net, you can go to any of the socials, look up Hambright Marketing, and you can find us and get more information.
Will and I have both worked with them and they're wonderful. So
thank you.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much for coming on.
thanks, Rick.
Thanks,
Thank
Rick.
you.
Bye.